And the hardest hit area is Sendai, also the closest city to the epicenter of Friday's quake. Paula Hancocks filed this report just a short time ago.
The devastation from Friday's earthquake and deadly tsunami is clear here in the city of Sendai. Now, we're quite close to the port here, maybe half a mile away, and you can see how far the mangled mess of these cars has actually been flung. You can feel the weight and the force of the water. And all the way up here, you can see cars that have just been flipped over onto their head. They've been wrapped around electricity pylons. Further down towards the port, you can actually see full-size trucks that have been smashed against buildings. Now, notably, the buildings themselves are still standing, but the devastation is pretty clear to see, and debris all across the tarmac here. Now, the reason we're not going further down into the port itself is because there's been at least 2 tsunami warnings. This is just in the last hour alone. You can see this is obviously from the earthquake itself. There's a lot of cracks in the road around this particular area. Now, people have been streaming away from this area. As I say, there have been 2 more tsunami warnings. Obviously, aftershocks are triggering these warnings. The police are moving people away. They don't want to take any chances. And you can see in the distance here this very thick black plume of smoke. Now, we understand from locals this is from a petrochemical installation. We've been here for maybe an hour, and it does to us look as though it's burning even more ferociously now than when we first got here. And we understand from locals that it's very difficult for the search and rescue teams and the emergency teams to get close enough to that particular incident to even be able to try and put it out. So this is a very quiet area at this point. As I say, people have been moving out the whole time. As we drove into the city of Sendai, there was a long queue of people trying to get out of the city. But bizarrely, when you drove through, it didn't feel like very much had changed in the city itself. It seemed normal until you turned a corner, and then you saw 100 cars queuing to get petrol, waiting an hour to just be allowed 10 litres of gasoline. You turned another corner, and then there was 100 people queuing for just the one grocery store in the town that was open. Another corner was turned around, and then you saw another 100 people waiting for a drugstore. There is very little electricity. There's very little mobile connection here, so many people are just trying to get out. Paula Hancocks, CNN, Sendai in Japan.
Kyung has been surveying some of the damage in the hard-hit area surrounding Sendai, and she joins us now live. And Kyung, I understand the military has arrived. What are they doing at this point?
Well, the military is trying to do 2 things. One, they're actively searching from the air. We've seen a large number of choppers flying up above, looking for survivors and also looking for bodies. On the ground, there are a lot of military boots on the ground trying to also find survivors, looking also for bodies. There are about 300 people missing in this community in Sendai. And I just want to kind of give you a look at what some of the residents told us. One of the residents whose wife is missing said that the tsunami came across and was at that tree line, and as the water came across, it took out the houses that were right in front of those trees. There were houses there. They were completely taken off their foundation, eliminated. The foundation now is under that water. So there were people in some of those houses, and that's what search and rescue teams are looking for at this point. If I could walk you over here this way, this is a community center right behind me. You can see all the windows are gone. Over here, this is an elementary school. 450 children and teachers and community people were inside the school when the tsunami hit. There's a car inside the hallway, a car that was pushed further inland. This is a car right here, upside down. It's a little hard to see. Those are wheels, and that's the front of the truck. And you can see it's buried under debris. And over here is the schoolyard. The schoolyard is littered with vehicles. Those are vehicles from the houses that were by the tree line. All of those cars were pushed ashore. So what residents here are trying to grasp and trying to understand is how this severe tsunami could have come across so quickly, and if any of the missing could have survived. There are a lot of search and rescue personnel on the ground, though, as I mentioned. They're hoping to find more survivors. We have seen some active rescues occurring here. And there have also been reports, Rosemary, of some bodies being pulled out. We do know from the military that there were bodies found in the school, but so far they have been removed right now.
Yeah, it's just tragic, isn't it? And a couple of hours ago, I did see one of your reports there, Kyung, where the helicopters were hoisting people out. So we were seeing some progress there, at least, some positive news. But what about the hospital there? A lot of concern about that.
Yeah, I think if you're asking about the hospital, I'll talk to you about that in just a second, but I want to point out what we're seeing over and over again. What you're looking at, I believe that's the local fire department, because they're wearing similar outfits to the gentleman who I spoke with. What they're doing is, you can see those long poles that they're carrying. They're pushing those poles in dry land or in low-lying water. They're looking for signs of life, they're looking for people, and this is part of that active search and rescue that I was talking about. Also, what they're hoping to find is that someone may be trapped in a void and somehow survived now 48 hours after the tsunami hit. And I'm going to also ask my photographer to take a look up above. One more thing I want to show you. Again, something that we're seeing over and over, the military up above, helicopters playing a critical role in what's happening today. That helicopter, we've seen several of that type of military transport, and what that helicopter is trying to do is look for signs of life, according to the military personnel I've spoken with down here. So hoping that there's going to be some positive news out of this tragedy, Rosemary.
Yeah, we certainly want to see that. Kyung reporting from Sendai in Japan. Thanks so much. Pauline, back to you.